Surveillance video shows thieves struggling to drag a heavy ATM out of a grocery store overnight. Chicago police say this gang has been targeting city businesses and hit 3 stores just this morning alone.
We didn't have these problems when I started. We have cameras here, license plate recognition cameras.
He says morning, afternoon, or night, they're undeterred.
That's how bold and blatant they are. They will just walk right in front of a camera, and sometimes they'll even look right in the camera.
Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities. I'm going to work hard every single day to protect the people who are caught up in violence in this city.
I mean, this is the first time that I know where my car is and what they done did with it, but this is definitely the second time that they did it.
This is very frustrated. We're trying to make a living, try to survive the neighborhood.
Welcome back to another episode of TAKEOVER Reactions. Welcome to all my new viewers and welcome back to all my regulars. Appreciate y'all for stopping by the channel. To all my new viewers that like the content, consider hitting that subscribe and like button so you can be notified when I drop a new video or update you on the old one. We on our way to 200 subscribers. And if you want to catch me live, you can catch me on Twitch every day at 5 p.m. at twitch.tv/TakeOverTV. And don't forget, if you want to send me some clips, then throw it down in the X community. Link is down in the description. Today, we will be reacting to Chicago legalizes retail theft, wiping 4,300 businesses off the map. Shout out to Cash Jordan for the video. Let's get straight into it.
Well, crime is taking over Chicago. Look at this. The schools are busy radicalizing the students. And what nobody's talking about is even though lawlessness here is through the roof, it's likely going to keep heading in that direction. And here's why. If you remember, a year ago, there was a massive ICE operation in Chicago, which did bring down crime numbers by getting criminals off the streets, but that was only temporary. And the criminal underworld is now back with the mayor and governor claiming this as some sort of a victory, something the radicalized populace here is very excited about because they've pulled one over on President Trump in their minds, which couldn't be further from the truth. Things in Chicago right now are completely out of control. Here, it's not even safe if you want to park your car in an empty lot. But sadly, this is what happens when the folks running your town believe everything wrong is somebody else's fault. Ditto the electorate who keep putting people like this into office. And the result ends up being a revolving door system that protects a precious criminal element. Because you see, these folks aren't criminals at all. Instead, they're victims of an evil, unfair country which was founded just to exploit people in their minds, which is why they blame America for problems they could deal with but won't. And that brings us to the real reason Chicago is headed in the wrong direction and is gonna keep heading that way as a place becomes more and more lawless. What happens is the law-abiding, they don't like this, so they leave. And who stays? People that don't have a problem with it. The law-abiding will not put up with this. They don't want their cars stolen. They don't want their restaurants and businesses getting plundered. They don't want gang activity and fugitives taking over intersections. But after they're gone, the only people who are still here are the ones you see wreaking havoc all across town, because none of these criminals are ever faced with a law enforcement consequence for any of this behavior. I wonder why. I wonder why that is.
Jail.
Well, I'm not gonna say they stay just because, like, all right, they okay with the conditions. No, some people are just unable to move. They can't just get up and move like other people. Some people don't have nothing left.
Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities. I'm going to work hard every single day to protect the people who are caught up in violence in this city.
Fact.
Right. So law enforcement, big sickness, huge problem. That's the reason Chicago's such a rotten place. We've got too much law enforcement. Meanwhile, these pesky journalists, they figured something out about the mayor that he didn't want anyone to know. Watch this.
Say that law enforcement is a sickness when you yourself have over 150 sworn police officers on your detail. What do you say to these people, and will you ask your 150 sworn police officer CPD detail to stand down if you and your wife Stacy are?
Here's what I've said. That
Please.
the addiction on jails and incarceration and the addiction of militarism, it is an evil.
I guess the mayor is suffering from the sickness of law enforcement because he's got quite a few police officers on his detail. It's costing quite a lot of money. And now those police can't go out and stop any of the crimes we're about to witness.
Bro, before the problem with the budget decrease in the police department, the police still been a problem. Harassing people, stereotyping, false arrests. And then they press innocent people for information, putting their life in danger. They don't care about that. My whole point in saying that just, bro, people been lost trust in the police department.
Chicago police are warning about a spike in car thefts across the loop.
CBS News Chicago investigator Tara Molina caught up with a manager of some of the lots dealing with these thefts who say the problem is worse than what we're hearing.
She's bringing us those details and taking a closer look at the crime.
This is one of the lots hit recently and repeatedly. And even though there are cameras like this one covering this space, I'm told these thieves are so bold, they don't care.
Why would you care about a camera if there's no consequence if you're recorded committing a crime? This is very simple. If law enforcement is a sickness that has no place in Chicago, what good's a camera gonna do? There's no police on the other end of it who are gonna do anything if you break into a parking lot and start stealing cars. And here's why this is such a problem. You've got crimes like car theft. And what happens? People that are very progressive, the socialists, they look at this and they say, yeah, car gets stolen, but you know, that's your fault for buying a car people want to steal. And hey, you got insurance, so no big deal. Victimless crime. Meanwhile, the people that steal these cars, what do you think they're using them for? You've got crimes like car theft. And what happens? People that are very progressive, the socialists, they look at this and they say, yeah, car gets stolen, but you know, that's your fault for buying a car people want to steal. And hey, you got insurance, so no big deal. Victimless crime. Meanwhile, the people that steal these cars, what do you think they're using them for?
We didn't have these problems when I started. We have cameras here, license plate recognition cameras.
Mark Gallis has more than 25 years experience managing parking lots across the city. He says recently,
our lots do not have as much business as we used to because word gets around in the neighborhood that these lots get targeted.
Pictures like this one from surveillance cameras of these theft crews. He says morning, afternoon, or night, they're undeterred.
That's how bold and blatant they are. They will just walk right in front of a camera.
Wow.
And sometimes they'll even look right in the camera.
A few of his lots are listed in this recent alert from Chicago police.
Here's what's really
warning
crazy.
Of car thefts across the Loop and South
This
Loop.
guy right
car
here.
Car thefts reported the end of February through this past week.
That alert was maybe...
This guy right here, he's not even covered up. He doesn't even care if he gets spotted. He was spotted. Have we heard about him getting arrested? No. And I also love how the sign here says, don't be a victim of car theft, as if it's the fault of the victim for having their car get stolen. It's the fault.
I want to know what happened I thought the National Guard was in Chicago. The last time I heard, they withdrew? Did the National Guard withdraw from Chicago? Because last time I heard, the National Guard was basically policing Chicago along with the local enforcement.
Fault of the criminals that these vehicles are getting stolen. It's not the fault of the law-abiding that what they had was taken away from them suddenly without warning by people who should be in jail and aren't. That's the fault of the local government and the people voting for these politicians who see every single criminal out there as a victim. But now it's time that we ask ourselves, what do the actual victims of these crimes think about all this?
What appeared to be an overnight crime spree, crash and grab thieves appeared to have targeted at least 3 businesses around Chicago, including this gas station here at 71st and Ashland. It's where surveillance video shows the criminals in action.
So as I was going in the back, I heard a ram, boom.
It unfolded around 4:50 this morning in the city's Inglewood neighborhood. That's where thieves first broke into a BP Amoco gas station at 71st and Ashland.
Yeah, I was shocked because this is business slow right here and everything. People come in, different rates.
The security footage shows the criminals using a dark-colored SUV to break through the building's glass window and exterior wall before gaining entry and taking an ATM.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think these guys drove here in their personal vehicle that is registered and traceable back to them? Or do you think they got here with one of the vehicles from that parking lot we were just at? I think we all know the answer to this question.
It's like that in Chicago? Damn, hey, is somebody in Chicago in the comments, bro? Let me know if this really going on up there, man.
Vehicles from that parking lot we were just at. I think we all know the answer to this question. And what you have here is a staircase of victimless crimes that just seem to have more and more victims. Look, here we've got a whole bunch of victims. We've got the owner of this business who now has to repair his store, lost all the money in his ATM. We've got a whole bunch of customers that were gonna come here and try to buy gas, and the place is gonna be shut down. And then the vehicle owner is gonna wake up by the time these guys finish their crime and find out that their car's in the river somewhere. Yet all you gotta do is lock people up who steal cars, and then you won't have people stealing ATMs or destroying businesses or destroying society or making life unaffordable for people who now have less places to go buy things, as well as the people who work at these places who now don't have a job while the place gets fixed.
Yo, people was taking ATMs off all type of ways, getting the person to come pick the cash up, actually hitting the armored trucks. The decrease in police presence makes crime more frequent now. It don't make it come into existence. The crimes that already existed, now that there's no police, it happens more often.
Did not want to be on camera, explains what happened next.
When I seen the guy bag back and do it again, I knew something wasn't right. He hit it like 45 times. When he hit it that fifth time, he knocked all of that out.
There's no way to stop
The guys
this.
got out so calm, and I mean, you could see that they knew what they was doing.
Oh,
Witnesses
they knew
say
what
the
they were
thieves
doing.
picked up the ATM and put it in a waiting minivan and took off.
Wow, so they knew what they were doing. So they didn't get up one day, as we're told by many people, that, oh, you know, these criminals, you know, they just made a wrong choice. They were gonna put on their suit today and go do tax returns for people at their accounting firm, and they said, you know, I'm gonna go steal ATMs instead in a stolen vehicle. Like, we're supposed to believe that these are not people who have dedicated themselves to a life of crime and have been taught that that is a perfectly reasonable pursuit in life, because law enforcement's a sickness, because jails are bad, because if you have a jail and there's people in it, there must be something wrong, and we need to release those people because they all say they're innocent and we should just believe them. And look at this. As I'm filming this video, last night, another break-in at another, like, this
is the third time this business has been hit in 2 years. The co-owner says this time thieves broke through a tall glass window, causing tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage, and it was all caught on camera.
Tens of thousands of dollars. Look at this place.
Glass sent shattering as 4 people break into a South Lou cafe early Wednesday morning. This surveillance video shows the thieves taking sledgehammers to 2 game machines, grabbing the cash and taking off.
We're now looking at an epidemic of crime in Chicago. Every single day this stuff is happening. If you got a business, that place is a target. It is gonna get annihilated by people who fear absolutely nothing. They've got an unlimited number of stolen vehicles that they can use as getaway cars. There are an unlimited number of businesses they can rob, at least there are for now, and once they're all gone, these criminals, they'll probably move on to a place like New York or California.
Just watched an entire city council in transparency try to take wages away from the very people who are part of an industry that has its ties to slavery. Nobody's hiding from that. I am boldly declaring that we need reparations in this city, and that's why I'm funding it.
So the mayor is here fighting for wages of restaurant workers who he says are getting a bad deal and are part of a system of businesses that are connected to exploitation. Now, how can you make that argument when you've got criminals who are exploiting these various businesses, making it tougher for them to pay their workers because all the money they make is getting stolen from their registers, stolen from their tip jars, and when they get robbed, they've got to repair everything.
So he's saying basically, if people wasn't destroying these businesses, the owners would have money to pay their employees. So why did we just see people burning down Amazon warehouses all over the country? And I would wager Amazon has enough to pay at least 15 times more than a pizza shop. So if they not paying their workers enough, what the fuck make you think a pizza shop got enough to pay their workers? Oh, people been had these problems though. Gas prices. People been complaining before we heard about the decrease in police enforcement. There's not no decrease in my city. Police patrol regularly around here. Shit, some days more than normal. That's why I asked, like, if anybody was in Chicago, let me know, like, what's really going on down there.
Don't even have to tackle the insanity of the ideas we just heard. There's something else that's making it hard for these places to operate. If you want good paying jobs, you want companies to have more money to spend on their workers, well, stop having them spend their money on the criminals. Let's take those criminals who should be in jail and build a jail and put them there. Let's do that. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody wants to do that. Instead, people are just wondering why the same masked criminals who we can't identify, might be the same people, might not be the same people, are stealing cars and stealing from your business. But some people are gonna say, oh, you can't identify these people.
Why is jails always overcrowded?
Of North Kimball, they stole an ATM from there too. Moments earlier, police say thieves unsuccessfully tried to rip off a business in the 4,000 block of North Park.
Crazy.
That crew left behind a dark-colored SUV. Ayanna Davis says police told her SUV was used in one of the crimes after it was stolen off the street near 68th and Normal. Despite the damage to her Jeep, she's just happy to get her vehicle back.
Terrible. This is the second time it happened. The second time it happened. I mean, this is the first time that I know where my car is.
That's terrible. This is the second time her car's been stolen and then used to commit crime. We have come full circle, and we've got proof that the same people stealing these vehicles are the same ones using them to do this stuff. And now, think about the affordability implications of this. This is her vehicle right now. It either needs to be repaired or it needs to be, I don't know if you could drive it like this. At the same time, remember, this is also a sanctuary city. Remember that we've got criminals living in Chicago, living in apartments, committing crime, who shouldn't even be in America to begin with. And there is resistance, eternal resistance on behalf of local leaders for doing something about this. And what we're learning is that if you increase the number of criminals anywhere and you do absolutely nothing to hold them accountable, everybody else pays the price for that.
That alert was maybe had 13 different dates on it. There's way more incidents than that.
We took a closer look at the crimes overall,
They're hiding
honing
the
in on
stats.
District 1, which includes the Loop and South Loop, and found car thefts are up from this same time frame last year. 166 compared to 138 thefts.
That's a lot of thefts.
But we've seen higher numbers in years past. 223 in this time frame back in 2024. Police recommending people who park in lots like this one install a security or anti-theft system and make sure it's marked on the car. Gallus pointing out these are often more than car thefts. The stolen cars used in other crimes.
Because again, the police apparently aren't going to get here fast enough to do anything about this, aren't going to hold these people accountable, aren't going to put them in jail. And the sad thing about this is that we've seen what happens in Chicago when criminals are held accountable. The only problem is the law-abiding have already left Chicago. The only people left are the people who don't seem to have a problem with criminal activity, which is why criminal activity is now defended and law enforcement is demonized at all levels.
The stolen cars used in other crimes.
Just as recently as 2 days ago, an FBI officer called us up about
FBI?
a stolen vehicle being used down in one of the south suburbs.
Chicago police tell me they're still investigating all of these recent thefts, and so far no one has been arrested.
Whoa, I ain't gonna lie, that's a real pickle. But it's gonna continue to get worse if we don't change the leaders, because we are not the ones making the laws. We definitely gotta take the fight to the top. And I think that's what some people is doing by torching these businesses and destroying these businesses. Send a message to the higher ups, because protesting don't do no good, and all those other options and methods that we've been using haven't been doing any good. Disagree with was about how those crimes is basically the reason why owners cannot pay their employees. I disagree with that. These crimes is actually the result of owners not being able to pay their employees, in my opinion. For instance, you got people burning down the warehouses, people torching the mall, and all these high fashion name brand places, designer brand places. It's been a lot of attacks on businesses, not even just in Chicago. And from what I'm hearing, that's just a result from them attacking the middle class. The middle class is very upset as they should be. Seem like the country just trying to wipe them from existence and even just straight put them in the lower class. And then with them raising the prices on everyday items do not help. I just looked at the gas prices and it was like $4.70 something, and that's for regular. My car takes premium. I don't even remember if I had a car the last time I saw gas prices at $4. And so this is crazy, and something definitely needs to be done. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, to hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified when I update a video or when I'm putting y'all a deal with an old one. And don't forget to tap into the website, The Urban Experience, at www.thaturbanexperience.com. Catch me on live every day, twitch.tv/TWizzleTV at 5 p.m. We on our way to 200 subscribers. I want to thank each and everybody for tapping into the channel, showing y'all support, man. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you got any clips that you want to send me, put it down in the X community. The link gonna be in the description. This has been another episode of TAKEOVER Reactions, man. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all for stopping by. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Thank y'all for watching.
She didn't have to cut me off. We were nothing.